Hey everyone, it's your girl Isabella here, and welcome to today's Truth by Bella's podcast episode. So, welcome to my new listeners. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and also be ready to just receive what I'm saying today. I also want to welcome back my returning subscribers. What's up, fam? I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day today to listen to today's episode. So, before we get into today's focus, we are officially in season 2 of Truth by Bella. So, I recorded episode 17, which was called Reflection Pause. And in that episode, I just pointed out some important reflection questions that you should be asking yourself transitioning from 2020, which was a crazy year, into 2021. There were important questions I feel like all of us as individuals should just answer for ourselves and also take note of, and some action steps that I added into that. So if you haven't heard that episode, Reflection Pause, please listen to it after this one. But let's move into this one here. So as we are in the month of February, which is known as the month of love, to be honest with you guys, I was honestly elated when Valentine's Day in 2021 fell on a Sunday. And the reason why is because the one place that I truly wanted to be was just be in the presence of the Lord. And sometimes when we think of it, like the love, like me, especially just knowing where I'm at right now in my walk, just experiencing the love of God has given me so much peace, has given me so much happiness. I've just been genuinely just excited. So one thing that I even mentioned on my Facebook was that it's great to show people that you love on that one day, which is February 14th, that you truly love them, but try something different, try something special for them. Even if you're in a relationship or if you're single, celebrate love these 28 days of this month. Don't just limit it to just one day and go all out. Like, make sure you bring that same energy the rest of the whole year and the rest of the whole days of your life as you celebrate that person. Yeah. So on that note, let's move into today's focus, which is going to be called the waiting time. So let's be honest, it isn't easy to hear wait. Sometimes it's much easier to hear a no or yes when you want an answer to something, because it gives you that understanding, that confirmation on what the result is. However, hearing wait can honestly be tough. It can be tough. I know. And I'm going to be very transparent with you guys in this episode because that's the only way I know best. So when I thought about what the Lord wanted me to speak on today, it kind of brought me back to a reflection of an article that I wrote in 2019 for Godly Today, which was titled, "Are we waiting on God or is he waiting on us?" The Lord had dropped in my spirit that this is something that I should definitely speak on for today's episode, especially as I move into season 2 of Truth by Bella's podcast, which we're going to focus more on relationships. My friends know, my friends from back then, definitely know that relationships was something that I was always excited to talk about. I couldn't wait to talk about relationships. I was always ready to learn. Any situation I was in, I always looked at how could I have approached that better? How could I have done this? What did I honestly do well? Because sometimes we forget to celebrate ourselves in situations like that. So when I thought about waiting, one thing I even thought about was the book The Wait by Pastor Devon Franklin and Megan Good. That's one of the books that I initially started reading in 2017. I still gotta finish that. But when we get into the waiting part, I want us to talk about the importance today, and I want you guys to also listen to the importance of the wait and key things I learned in my season of waiting. So we realize as Christians, that most times when we pray, we're expecting God to automatically just say yes. If I'm praying Lord, is this job for me? It's kind of like the next day you want him to be like, yes, it is, or no, go the other way. And the truth is, a lot of us are impatient. That's the reason why we want that automatic yes. We want that automatic, this is a go or this is a no, because we are, if we can admit this, sometimes we're impatient. Some of us cannot wait in long lines. Me at a time, I'll be like, all right, so what's honestly happening? Even when it comes to traffic, like if you have somewhere to go, it's more frustrating to be in traffic and stuff. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have to understand that when it comes to waiting, you also need to be very patient. And that is one of the fruits of the spirit that all of us can necessarily like work on. For some reason, when we're hearing not yet, it hurts more than just hearing simply no, because we believe that like when it's not yet, it's like something that you're necessarily looking forward to, but you don't really have that timestamp on when it is gonna necessarily come. So sometimes with that, like when we're thinking about wait, we're like, oh my gosh, like what should I do in the meantime? When is this time coming? Like I cannot wait and stuff. And we kind of find ourselves becoming anxious. We kind of find ourselves moving around, trying to figure out what necessarily do we need to do. So I've definitely learned a lot in my season of waiting. And I'm honestly like, when I say the gems that the Lord has been dropping to me, because when I went into the season, I allowed the Lord to just take control. I had to surrender my will and was like, you know what, God, I'm following the will that you have for my life. And I realized that it's very essential on waiting on him, because you don't want to ruin the plans that he has for you. And what Jeremiah 29 verse 11 states is, for God knows the plans that he has for us. And sometimes we try to move according to our own plans. And I know I've hinted on that in previous episodes before, on allowing God to take the lead in our life, allowing God to just guide us and trusting him as our confidant. So when we look into the Bible, just even kind of explain on that, I would say one of the perfect example of someone that waited was truly Jesus. And just even understanding Jesus, like his waiting, literally shows us the patience, shows us that he literally trusted in God. And I know times then were probably different than it is now, but we honestly have strength. We have strength. We can do everything through Christ, for he strengthens us. So I want to emphasize on some key points that I pointed out in my article that I wrote, was that waiting on God brings confirmation and brings peace that is necessary for our lives when things around us don't necessarily doesn't line up to the will that he has for us. So when you're waiting on God, you have that opportunity to still get things that you need to get done, but you are leaning in and you're understanding, you're waiting for that confirmation. Another thing that I learned too was that waiting on God allows us as his children to be very in tune with his voice and the promises that he has spoken over our lives. So when it comes to the sense of being a believer, there is points of our times where we see a goal that we want to move towards, and necessarily we may get word, we may get prophesied over on, this is where the Lord is taking you, this is where this is what you're going to accomplish. One thing that you need to do whenever you receive a prophetic word is to go back to the Lord and also pray over that prophetic word, because when you go back to the source, which is literally God, you are able to lean on him. You're able to lean on Yahweh and just ask him, like, what is this strategy? What is the strategy in order for me to get to where you are calling me? Who do I necessarily need to be around? And with that as well, like I learned that in waiting, it literally helped increase my faith. It helped me, it gave me a lot of hope for the future. And I knew exactly what to look for. I knew exactly how to even stay busy. And then when you hear waiting, it doesn't mean necessarily don't do anything and just sit back and just chill. But no, you still need to move. Like faith without works is dead. Like you need to get something done. So if you are a person, let's say hypothetically speaking, if you are a person that is, you put in an order for something that you order online, right? What do you do until that order comes to you. What are you doing that time period? You're waiting, but you're still busy getting other things done. So then when you get the notification that it's getting closer, you know to stay aware that, okay, this package that I literally ordered is on its way. You're not sitting here like, oh my God, looking at every steps and stuff, unless you're a person that's similar to me. I do like paying attention to tracking information, but with that, I have an estimate of the time that's going to come. When it comes to waiting on the Lord, like I said earlier, it's different because we kind of lean towards when exactly is that time. And I understood that, like, literally just staying patient and honestly, like, understanding that I have so much I need to get done. That is what I really enjoyed. I understood that I can't just sit around and just wait, because I know that because I surrender to the will of the Lord, that everything that I needed to get done will come in alignment. Everything, everywhere that I needed to go will be put in my path out. The Lord will give me a way for me to get there. So, one scripture that's standing on my mind that I want us to kind of like, what I'm going to share with you guys to just even like read when you have the chance, is Isaiah 40, verse 31. For it states, "But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagle. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." So literally the word says it right there. There is a strength that comes from waiting in the Lord in various aspects of our lives. It gives us the grace to move forward in life. Waiting on the Lord increases our trust and loses our apparent control. So if you're not able to wait, it's like you're trying to control the narrative. And that's something that God honestly wants us to just stop on that, or just honestly for us to just relax at times and allow Him to take control. So when I think about relationship wise, and waiting, sometimes we get into this stage of just even trying to understand on when will our future babe be on the way. And in terms of like waiting, like when someone comes into the picture, we're automatically thinking like, oh my God, is this the one, is this the one, is this the one? And that's something that if you're single, or if you're in the stage of in a relationship and stuff, honestly take the time back and just pray and literally listen to God on that. Don't allow your emotions to get far ahead of you with it, because one thing is that when you're waiting, you are knowing that there's something great that is coming, especially, which is why it's important for you to trust in God on what He's going to do. Another thing I realized even from like reading Isaiah 40:31 that I got revelation on, it was that waiting on God, it humbles us in that process as well, for us to say that if I necessarily can't get to the stage of waiting, then God, I'm really not patient. Like I really don't trust you as much. And that's basically what we're saying without us necessarily vocalizing that, when we try to make plans for ourselves and we don't allow the Lord to guide us in that way. So, if you are like, if you trust in, when you trust in Him, like I know for a fact that God will guide you. Like He will guide you towards your purpose. He will guide you towards your destiny. And I learned so much. Like I've been so blessed just to even just gain some gems while being in a stage of literally understanding on what God has for me. So relationships, in season two, what I'm gonna even like focus more on in season two is just the importance of relationships. So when we think about relationships as well, the first thing that comes to your mind, and you're probably with me on this, is a relationship with a boy or a girl, or male or female. So I wanted to change that narrative as well, because the importance too when it comes to waiting, that can also be applied in relationships as well, is though soul relationship is not only about romantic wise. Friendship is also a relationship as well. Working with other people is a relationship as well. And I also want us to think about, when it comes to waiting as well, applying that to your everyday life. So how could you best wait? How could you best like have the right attitude when it comes to waiting. So, four tips that I'm going to share with you guys that you should have the best attitude when it comes to waiting is praying and asking God to help you wait well. That is something that literally, when I say God is so good, and I said that in the beginning that I would be transparent with you guys. And that's something too that I had to move to be very transparent with God because He knows me best. Sometimes we feel like we can do everything on our own. And truth be told, we really can't. Like, it's important that we have community around us just to understand and just to focus on what we necessarily need to do. Another tip that I want to share with you guys is just reflect on the areas of your life where you still need to grow and be stretched out of your comfort zone. Don't just stick to what you're familiar with. Like, you have to understand that in different seasons of your lives, you're going to be put in a position of like working in or walking in your purpose, understanding and connecting to different people. So with that, while you're waiting, look at where are places that you can grow, where are places that you can just step out and do something different. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is trust God's not yet by remembering that other seasons of waiting had ended with God giving you what you prayed the best for. Like, God has literally blessed us with so much, and then reflecting on the blessings that He's given us, what season and how long did it take you for you to get that? So whether it was a job that you wanted, or whether it was a role or a position, or if it was a house or if it was a car, how long, like, how was your process then? When you prayed that prayer, did you automatically get the answer the next day? I don't think so. But did you, it took you time, it took you steps there in order to get there. So trust that God's not now, it's for your own good, and it's not that He's holding back from you. When God is saying not now, it's probably protecting you from where, if you were given what you needed in that moment right there, would have like kind of resulted you in. So trust God's not now, trust God on the wait process. And the last thing is that remember that God is in the wait with you. Really pay attention to His voice, pay attention to the direction that He's taking you, pay attention to the people that He surrounds you by, pay attention to the lessons that He teaches you, because we have to understand that we are not in this world, we're not in this life alone, we are not in this alone. So I honestly pray that today's episode on the waiting time literally encourage you to reflect on what are some things that I've been waiting on and what could I do in that process. Don't just solely focus on what you're waiting on, but look at ways that you can be productive. Look on ways on how you can continue to grow in your relationship with God. Look at ways on and acknowledge the good things that God has done for you, the blessings that He's surrounded you by. Acknowledge your growth as well, because sometimes when we are doing good, we look at the things that we could have done better than instead of acknowledging what we are doing good. So if you're in a season of waiting, I celebrate you. You got this. You are strong. You can do it. If you're in a season of getting to the very close, just keep holding on, keep being strong, and you can do this. So I hope you guys were truly blessed by today's episode on the waiting time. And like I said, if you haven't had the chance to listen to Reflection Pause on the important questions to ask yourself and reflect on from 2020 coming into 2021, take the time to listen to that episode. It will definitely bless you. And I look forward to hearing on what you guys thought about today's episode. So feel free to connect with Truth by Bella on Facebook, on Instagram at Truth by Bella all together. Also as well, or connect with me on Clubhouse, and also share with your friends on this episode here if it really bless you. Any of the episodes within Truth by Bella from season 1 till now, Truth by Bella can be found on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Truth by Bella's website under the podcast section. However you had this opportunity to listen to it, please let me know, and please let me know some key gems that you felt like that really resonated with you after you're listening to this episode. So with that being said, I pray that God literally gives you the strength to wait. Whatever it is in your life, whatever situation it is, I pray that He protects you. He gives you that guidance. He gives you that clarity, and He gives you exactly what direction you need to take. You can do this. I believe in you, and I hope you honestly continue to believe in yourself as well. Okay, so bye, and make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye.